finish is better. It's a smoother finish, and our joints are. What about yellow?
That's yellow.
Our LEDs don't have.
Yeah, well,
That's super exciting.
I was not expecting.
I can 3D print that.
How much more expensive is this?
What's up, guys? Shane here, Fugatech 3D printing, and today we're gonna make a little LED lamp. Welcome back, guys. So as you saw there, a recent video came out from Evan and Katelyn where they recreated a lamp from Amazon. So it was a DIY or buy. It was I think it was a good series, especially if you have wood cutting tools. I don't have wood cutting tools though. I have lots of 3D printers and lots of different filament. So I wanted to see if I could 3D print this lamp to be just like theirs. Well, as close as I can make it, I guess. So what I did is I watched that video and I actually grabbed a screen capture of where Katelyn was holding up the sketch, and I was able to rough out a few of the dimensions, and I think I got it kind of right. I don't know, but I took that and went into Fusion 360. I'm gonna show you right now how I went ahead and I created it. All right, so we're in Fusion 360 and we're gonna go ahead and create this. I've already done it, so I'm gonna walk you through what I did because it really is not that hard. I actually paused Evan and Katelyn's video to kind of cheat a little bit, and I was able to see some of their dimensions. So I kind of went from that and created this first sketch. So if we dive into here, I could see whenever they did it, it was 117 degrees for each of these angles. This last one was at 90. This one was a little bit longer. I already did print this. I don't know, I might end up taking this down to 73 like the other ones, or even shorter than that. But going off of their dimensions, that's what they had it at, so I just copied it because why not? This is a place to start. Kind of can go from there, but you can see all my dimensions right here. Finish that up. Step 2 was to extrude a bunch of it, and I made it wood colored because why not? That's what it should be. So I just extruded that part. As you saw, I did have a line down here to keep this separate. I didn't really need to do that, but I did anyways. I could have just extruded it all together like that, and that gives us our initial like shape, kind of like this. But you'll notice this front part right here should have an angle. So we're gonna make a sketch for that. And I had two different ones because I resized it a few times, but yeah, once I figured that out, I then extruded that angle. As you can see, it's wrong, so I had to fix that and fixed it there. So when I was right here, I decided it was too far over. I wanted this to be smaller up here at the top and really wide at the bottom. So I just went ahead and did that and extruded all of it. And then here in the back, so it was highlighted in the back there, which is a little hole for the cable to go through. So I don't have to cut through it. I can just model that in, and that's it. So basically you can extrude these first two right here to as tall as you want. This one is extruded to 250 millimeters tall. I can make that as tall as I want. You can go up to 400 millimeters. That's the tallest printer I have. Actually, I have 500 millimeters is the tallest printer that I have that I could do, but I figured 250 would be a good place to start because I'm also very limited on the filaments I'm going to use, and I'm going to use some wood filament from Hatchbox. So now that you've seen how I created it here, let's print it and see what it looks like. So that's how I made it. All I gotta do now is print it. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw some Hatchbox wood PLA because that's the most of any wood PLA I have right now that's like a true wood. I have a couple of other ones that are like wood-ish, they're wood colored, but they're not wood filament. I want a wood filament. So I'm gonna throw that on the CR10, and now you guys get to watch a little time lapse of it. And here we are, about 14 hours later, I now have my own little lamp piece. It looks okay. It's not exactly how I kind of envisioned it. I mean, I guess it's exactly how I envisioned it because I modeled it, I created this from you know, a sketch of someone else, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm not sure if it quite matches what they made, but it's a starting point. I've never made anything like this before. I'm not into architectural design or home interior design or anything like that. I just wanted to see if this would work, and here it is. So it's in Hatchbox wood PLA, and it came out great. It smells glorious. It smelled for 13 and a half hours, about 14 hours, it smelled glorious actually printing. So this is printed with 2 perimeters, 4 top, 4 bottom layers, and a 5% infill. So it is super lightweight because this is not load bearing whatsoever. This just needs to be light and sturdy, and it is just that with those perimeters. Again, this PLA bonded really well, and this is at a 0.3 millimeter layer height, the thickest you can get with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle, at least with my settings. Sometimes you can only go 0.28. Anyways, but I just wanted to print as big a layers as I could, so this would be done as fast as I could, and I saved actually over 11 hours between printing at 0.2 and 0.3 millimeters. So that actually was a great success. And again, this is the 250 millimeter version. I also made a 300 millimeter version in Fusion, but I was looking at my spool and looking at it now, it's still there on the printer. There's like not a whole lot left. It would not have made it. So I've actually ordered in some more filament, and I'm gonna go ahead and print this again. Well, let's see how this one turns out. And I'm gonna print this again using some Praline wood PLA because that one has been the best I've ever found. And I'm gonna print this again in that, but I'm gonna print it taller, maybe as tall as I can make it on that printer, and see how that turns out. I don't know if that'll be in this video or not because I don't really want to wait 3 weeks to do that. Anyways, all right, so now we need to figure out how to light this. Well, I just did the hexapixel project, and I thought that was a pretty good success. And those LEDs are pretty bright. So I have another strand of those LEDs right here. Now this is, again, one complete circuit just like I made in that video. So what I did with this is, because I didn't have the Arduino background, or I couldn't get the Arduino to work, basically there's another video that came out that you could see where a certain sequence starts and stops. That is your one complete set. So this is one complete set for that. And I do have some pieces here and there, so I might experiment with this video and see how those operate together. Maybe I'll do that first. I do have a couple little straggly pieces that I can piece together and see what happens. But I think I'm going to end up having to use this one because these will communicate the best together without having to do any programming, as they are all sequential inline, and these are programmable and addressable individual LEDs that are on here, individual LED strips as well. So that's what I think I'm going to do. But just to kind of show you when I do use this one or how I have it set up. So LEDs are going to go on the inside of this piece right here. And just for an example, I'll show you if I started here, we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 sequences or 4 segments to fit in there. Okay, I can't really fit a 5th. It's just a little too short for that, but 4 will fit just fine. So I'm going to fit as many of these in as I can, I think. But I guess we should probably see what the lighting looks like first. So I do have a power supply here, and this one actually has little leads on it. So that makes it really easy to hook up to a power supply. I'm not going to put the actual controller on this yet because I've ordered one. It's not here, so I need to go steal the one off the Hexapixel once the kids fall asleep, which they are not yet. So we'll definitely be able to see how this turns out in a moment. Alright, so we're going to plug in. This is a 12 volt, 5 amp power supply. Way overpowered for this. I'm going to end up ordering just a 1 amp wall wart. I think that'll be more than enough to power this one strip. I did have another 1 amp one, but it actually just died for these rack lights, so I had to replace that. So let's just hold in one strip of these, just like that, and let's plug this in and kind of see how that looks in there. On camera, it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. But if we throw some more in there, like this, and then like this, we can really brighten that up. I think that'll look pretty good. It's definitely a soft light, and once I put the controller on there, I can change any color we want, any brightness we want too. That also works out really well. So I think that'll work out, and like I said, I'll get about 3 runs with this single strand in there, and because it is one complete strand together, that is bright and in my eyes, because it is one complete strand, I'll be able to actually run the different programs through it, and it'll make complete routes, so it might end up having a pretty interesting effect. Alright, so we know this will work, but let's experiment now. Let's get a little bit off the deep end here. I'm going to get 2 smaller segments and put them together and see how well they work out with just power on them. And I'm also going to go upstairs and steal that programming adapter from the NeoPixels so that I can make sure that this actually works properly. So I'll I'll be back in a moment with that soldered up and we'll do some testing. I think that works. Not too bad. Definitely has does have lighting effects. We can go straight up white. I'm gonna go with, my wife just looked at it. She said 1 strip of LEDs. I'm gonna go 2, just because I think it looks a little bit better with the effects. Once you start doing the different effects in it, it adds just a little bit more to it. I think it'll look good. So what I have to do though is I don't want to bend the LED strip. I want it to be flat. So I'm going to make a couple little jumpers so I can actually jump these 2 strips together and they can lay flat against there, and that way there's no weird bending or weird one single LED going some odd direction. So I'm going to do that now and we'll continue on. Alright, so here we have 2 strips together. I just used a little bit of the extension cable that came with the actual LED lead kit. Again, this is all left over from my hexagon project, and I think it's going to be great. So I'm going to stick these on. I'm actually going to use a little bit of hot glue to keep them on there nice and tight on that plastic, but I think it'll work out great. So let's do that now. Alright, so you saw I got this in there. I used a little bit of super glue to give it a little bit of holding power, and then I went ahead and used some high heat resistant glue. It's also high temperature, so it takes really hot to actually use the hot glue gun. This Ryobi does a great job of that, some Gorilla hot glue. And I tacked it at the ends and as far as I could reach with the gun. And I think that will keep everything in place. You can't see, I'm just waiting for these strings to finish cooling, and then I'll get the rest of these strings out of here. And what I'm gonna do is, that's it. It's done. So and now for cost, you'll need about 10 bucks for the controller and $10 for a 1 amp power supply. Again, that's more than enough. 12 volt 1 amp for this, as I'm using 12 volt LEDs. These LEDs, there's only using 8 segments, about 16 inches of my total, which was it was a 16 foot. Was what it was? I don't know, one of those great big reels. I'm only using a piece of that, and I already used that for another project, and I still have a bunch of LEDs left that I can use for other projects, which is kind of the great thing about LEDs. Cut off what you need and keep going. A little bit different for the programmable ones, but either way, I think it'll be good. So what I'm gonna do is this one will eventually get hot glued inside, and that way you can actually hide that away and no one will know it's there. So that'll work. So I'm gonna end up hot gluing this in here, but not this one, just because, again, I stole this off the kids and I only had 1 in stock. So I'm gonna order a couple more of these just to have on hand for the rest of these LEDs. Again, these are getting really fun. I'm having a really fun time with working on these LED projects. It really is a ton of fun. So let's go ahead and plug this in and get some beauty shots real quick. Computer, turn on the nightlight. Ta-da! So I figured I might as well take it to the next level. I have a pack of these smart plugs. I've used 1 pack to kind of do my office, which I never really made that video. Maybe I should do that before I make this video. Anyways, I used a pack of those to control my office, and now I'm going to use one of the other pack to control this nightlight. So we're going to use this as a nightlight, I think, in our bedroom. I think it'll end up working out really good. Kind of can walk in and like, we're always putting the baby to bed and be like, hey, computer, turn off the nightlight. Off it goes. I use a computer for my office just so that it's different from the rest of the devices in the house. All the rest of them starts with A. I don't want to say it and make anybody angry that I made their device turn on or off, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, so that's why my office is different than the rest of the house. But for those, we just say A, turn on the nightlight or turn on whatever we need to turn on, and it works out just fine. So I think that's just one little key thing for this. I will say that I'm using a dumb controller. This one is very, very cheap. I think this was actually like $2 on Banggood. But getting a more expensive one, I think I spent $10 on one that's coming, and that has Alexa built into it. I said the word, sorry. And that one has A built into it, and that way I can actually just hook that device up, and then I can control that from anywhere in the house. I might actually see if I can find those on Banggood, because on Amazon it was a little more expensive, but I wanted to get here. It should be here like any day. But for this, you can either just turn it on, you can use a smart switch, you can use an A-enabled controller. Lots of different things you can do, so whatever you decide to do, do it. Have fun with it. So if you guys enjoyed this little project, I had a lot of fun doing it, just creating this and seeing what someone else made, again, inspired me. I was inspired before when someone else made something, so I decided to go ahead and make this myself, design it, prototype it, and here we are with this one. I actually also did a test on a failed one. I tried using some, I have like a, kind of like a polyurethane / stain to see how it took to this. And I don't like the look of it. It does darken it up quite a bit, but it's not what I was looking for. So I'm not going to actually pursue that. It was a test though. I sanded a few faces of this, and then I just painted it on the other ones or brushed it on the other faces. Didn't get what I wanted to, but it was definitely worth the shot, and now I know that that doesn't work out too well with that. Now if you guys feel inspired to make one of these, I will put a link in the video description to all the parts that I used and a couple different vendors for them, whichever ones are coming out cheaper. Amazon gets faster, Banggood and GearBest gets it to you slower, but you save like 50% by going through them. You just have to wait a month for it to get to you. So whichever one that you prefer, I'll put links for those down below. So if you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, give it a big thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you guys thought about this project, and if I should do any other kind of things like this. I thought it was pretty fun. It was a good learning experience for myself. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want to stay tuned what's going on, make sure you hit that big subscribe button and hit the bell icon. That way you get notifications when I upload new content or do a live stream. If you want to help me out build projects like this, you can become a patron. It takes $1 to do so, or more if you so decide. There's different tiers you can pick from, but that link is down below me. Hit that. Donate $1 more, you get access to Patreon feed, my after show, and again, you really help fuel the channel so I can do extra projects like this, because YouTube income is jack. So I rely on my patrons to really help me out on the channel. Other ways you can help out, there's some one-time donation links. There's a join button down there. You can join the channel and subscribe to it. There's also affiliate links, again, for all these products and other things, and there's some discount codes down there below as well. There's Honey down there, which you can install that. You can actually save some money on various websites. Again, lots of ways. Check all that stuff out. I thank you guys for watching. Until next time, happy printing.